Swindledly, and welcome back to another biscuit review with me, Fred Hope. My username is EpoDerf, which is Fred Hope backwards. And this is very exciting. It's an auspicious day because this is the first biscuit review I've done not on a Honda Cub of some sort. This is in fact a Suzuki DRZ 400, not a DRZ, a DRZ. So join me on the tip of the Tet as a tit traipses the trail and tucks into some Tim Tams. Tim Tams are an Australian staple. You eat that, I think they eat kangaroo, maybe emu, and I think that's about it, and it's all barbecued. Anyway, my esteemed friend, I wish colleague, but no, just friend, Brett of Australia, as he's known in Australia, flew all the way over, gave us some biscuits. I did another video on the Arnold selection pack he gave me. Only a quarter of that was edible, sadly, the Scotch finger. The Tim Tam, I've already tasted them, but I just need to share my opinion with the world on the Tim Tam because they're utterly fabulous. Firstly, they were only conceived by an incredible gent who said, okay everyone, I'm going on a world tour to do some R&D to see which biscuits we have to beat, and the Tim Tam was born out of someone tasting a penguin, the chap that was doing a world tour of R&D for biscuits. What a career. It's been a while since someone's done one, so perhaps that's my calling. He tasted a penguin and went, yeah, I could do that better, and lo, they have. So I think 1954 the old Tim Tam was conceived, and I've already tasted them and they are majestic AF. Just a little bit of heel action. So the reason I'm doing this on a DRZ 400 is that, as I explained in my last video, whilst the Cub probably would do it, I don't want to hurt it. It's a majestic thing in its own right, and I think I would only get to a stage where I was sort of wantonly destroying it for clout. I believe it's called clout chasing. So I thought, why not get a bike that is far more capable than myself and learn something and hopefully not come off in the process. So far so good. It feels extremely robust. The chap that had it before me maintained it meticulously. His garage was incredible. I didn't actually think he went in the house. But yeah, I mean, you can aim at rough ground on this and it just nom chews it up. I'm a shite rider. I've not really had any formal training. I've done a fair bit of mountain biking, but I'm not even particularly good at that. This is such a flattering machine. It's not complex, very old design. There are some quirks about it. The oil lives in the frame. There's no ABS. There's no anything really, but it just is a wondrous thing. I've already changed the oil, which was actually quite a nice experience to do a vehicle that I'm not completely au fait with. Which way do I go? I think I go down here. Anyway, yeah, I've already changed the oil. I've given it a once over, but as I said, the guy that owned it before me was just extra meticulous and he did a really fantastic job. So I'm just trundling down here in second. There's a nice bit of engine braking, and even though I don't know very much about riding off-road, I know that you have to just let the bike do what it wants and not fight it. So if it wants to go in a rut, just let it go down the rut, and if it wants to come out of a rut, let it come out. And I'm sure lots of people are watching this going, oh, you should be going faster, you should. Can't really see what's around the corner and everyone's allowed to use that trail, so I'm not going to go bonkers. Anyway, so that was a tiny bit of trail. We'll get on to the Tet proper, even though the weather's foul, and we'll tuck into some Tim Tams. Right, let's drizz through here slowly. Through here, which is sandy, bounded by ferns and cow parsleys and brambles on either side. Through here, the Honda Cub the other day grounded out, got stuck, and was, I mean, it was brilliant fun to ride through here, but it wasn't exactly fair on the little thing, I don't think. And this is a boat, a byway open to all traffic. It's just a bit rainy, so I'm going to do up the old visor. So anyway, I don't know whether I'm supposed to stand up or sit down or what they call paddle or what, but okay, we're covered in trees now, so I can pull this open. And I can feel the tyres straight away, so not crunching down into the mud, but you know, like gripping instead of sliming. That can't have been it. That cannot be the little rough section. Oh no, right, let's hit this rock on purpose. No problem. Rocky terrain, doesn't seem to mind. Just conscious that someone might be using horse down here, but you know, it's sort of rooty and rocky and horrible and rutty, and it just drizzes through it. I think you call these rock steps, but anyway, down we go. So the reason I bought one of these is that I am just naturally a wrecker of shit. So there's a phrase that gets used quite a bit by chums, which is FREDPROOF. If something's deemed FREDPROOF, then it is robust beyond any testing even NASA could hope to achieve. I'll give you an example. One of the first jobs I did was on a building site. I was still at school, and I managed to snap a crowbar, not one of the teeth off of a crowbar. I snapped a crowbar in the middle, which was cause for quite some adulation from the strongly Wiltshire accented builders that I was working with. They still wouldn't stop calling me a posh Clark Kent, but you know, such is life. I broke a claw hammer. I broke 2 core drills because I was told that they were likely to hurt me if they bound up whilst I was drilling a 4-inch hole through a very stout masonry wall. And I thought, there's just no way I'm going to let that happen. So I burnt out 2 core drills and was then disallowed from using the core drills. And I just break stuff all the time. It's a bit embarrassing, even to the point where I went to a friend's birthday, his 30th birthday, and we were just larking about arm wrestling. And I said, you know, I'm most definitely not boasting. The sky is blue, postman deliver post, I'm very strong. We were arm wrestling, so beat everyone, and they then said, right, we're getting Blake. Blake's a big strong horse of a bloke. Yeah, big strong gym going horse of a man. And sadly I even broke Blake. I snapped his arm, and it was the most disgusting sound you've ever heard. But I just wreck stuff, and I've done my research, and I feel like these DRZs are incredibly robust, possibly even FREDPROOF, and there's only one way to find out, which is to start using one. So that's why I've got one. We are now on the tet proper, tetting about, and yeah, we're just going to see what we can see. Apart from nice views, somewhat obscured by rain, but at least it means it's slightly quieter than it might otherwise be. The bike sounds a little bit like a lawnmower that's been subjected to the throttle stone. What is the throttle stone? My friend Jack, as an adjunct to his ordinary job, was doing some farm work a while ago, and there was a very earnest but not mechanically sympathetic young farm labourer, and Jack was listening to him mow a lawn, and the mower was just screaming its heart out, and it went from absolutely wide open throttle, flat out bouncing valves, bang, dead stop. So naturally Jack went to have a look. He said, what's on? And the earnest farm labourer said, well, the mower stopped working. And he said, yeah, I did hear it revving quite high. What was the problem? He said, oh, well, it kept cutting out and bogging down in the long grass. So I put a stone behind the throttle linkage. And once you put the stone there, it stops it from it stops it from bogging down and breaking. So the bike does sound a little bit like a lawnmower that's been subjected to the throttle stone, but you know, I don't mind too much. I think I was supposed to take that byway up there. I'm going to pop off and check in a minute, but we'll get up onto a trail, hopefully find something that's not too rainy, and then we'll tuck into some Tim Tams. Windily, and welcome to a tit on the tet tasting Tim Tams. Tim Tams are a biscuit from Australia. I'm going to test their scent, their snap, how they are dry, and how they are dipped in tea. I've got a cup of tea here that I made very vigorously earlier. It's quite windy here, even though it's the middle of summer. So of course, it's British etiquette when you pour a cup of tea, start low, generate some height, try not to let the wind get it too much. Oh, there she is. And you're looking for a generous head on your cup of tea there. Okay, the tea is poured. And this time, nothing got smashed to bits because I used a rucksack and a motorbike that is actually meant to be on the Tet as opposed to a Honda Cub 90. The ever succulent Tim Tam. I'm just going to check I'm still recording. I am. Yeah, Tim Tams are extremely serious. I remember the first time Brett bought me a set, it was like the first time I ever listened to Meatloaf. It was absolutely incredible. They're made by Arnott's, which is surprising because Arnott's also make foul biscuits such as the Monte Carlo, the other foul biscuits that I reviewed a couple of weeks ago. There is no substitute. Totally agree. The Tim Tam was conceived to beat a penguin, just smash it to bits, and they achieved that objective. The wrapping is brown. I like brown stuff. Wish I saw more brown cars and motorbikes and things. I'd describe this brown as fluorescent brown. They're trademarked, they're full of sugar, and I guarantee as soon as I go home with an open pack of these suckers, they'll be gone. But anyway, the scent. Wow, if you get a pack of Tim Tams, what you want to be doing is inhaling straight from the packet. It's a bit of an advanced technique, but everyone around you will understand. Pristine, look at that. If I'd ridden here on the Cub, they'd be smashed to hell. They smell, there's almost like a sort of fudgy, butterscotchy toffiness to them. Really sweet, sort of light milky chocolate smell. Very little breadiness or biscuitness. They smell more like a box of chocolates than they do a box of chocolate biscuits, if that makes sense. So the scent is very fine, intriguing. They feel a little waxen and they look quite pale. Sorry for the weather. The snap, let's get close. Bit disappointing. No crumb fountain, but if you look in there, I mean, look at the state of that. Just geometric uniform bliss. So I'm going to go in dry, which is what lots of Australians do. Surely someone at Penguin has been to Australia, eaten one of these and gone, what are we doing? The chocolate on the outside is different to the chocolate filling on the inside, and the biscuit is different again. That's 3 types of chocolatiness, all of which are very tolerable in one sweet package. There's just a bit of saltiness, there's no raising agent sort of fizz on your tongue. The biscuit's as crisp as a bitch as well. everything a penguin wishes it could be. I even emailed the people that make Tim Tams, and unsurprisingly they didn't get back to me. But I like Tim Tams because my sister had breast cancer when she was young. And she's not old now, she had it when she was like 25. Both tits off, chemo, fake tits in on the NHS. But Arnott's, particularly Tim Tams, helped with the breast cancer awareness campaign in Australia, so that is minty. Now dipping them, I'm going to show you two styles. The first style is merely what they call the English dip, and I'll go for 10 seconds. I know someone called Jack Cooper who drives like a maniac. He sent me a video of himself dipping a chocolate hobnob for 10 seconds the other day, so here we go, Jack. 10, 9, 8. He says Mississippi in between because I think numbers confuse him if he doesn't do that. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You've over-dipped. No, I haven't. Tea subdues the smell. Oh look. The chocolate's quite thick, but I've got some even more advanced ones at home that are double thick, or double coat I think they're called. So you can opt to suck the chocolate off. And dip again. It's unlikely you're sharing a cup of tea with anyone. Because it's protected by the chocolate somehow, because there's no soft chocolate to bite through, the crunchiness of the biscuit goes up with dipping in tea. I just lost my concentration there because I can see two Chinooks scudding along the valley there. I might be about to get shot. But this is the coup de grace, the pièce de résistance, the fillet de snake. The Tim Tam Slam, ma'am. Bite off diagonal opposing corners. I did this with the Cadbury Snow Fingers, but this is the way it should be done. Opposing corners, doink, doink, bitten off. 45 degrees, into the tea. Suck like your life depends on it. You feel the biscuit disintegrate, and it goes in one. If soup was sweet, the soup I just consumed would get a Michelin star. Tim Tams are so flipping good. So, the scent is great. The snap is a bit disappointing. I'd like more of a crumb cascade, but dry they taste magnificent. And dipped in tea, if you're Tim Tam Slamming, they're amazing. So who are they for? They're for Australians, because if they don't eat them, they die. They're for people that want to show off. You know, if you've got friends coming over, good friends, mind, and you've got some Tim Tams in stock, imported from Australia, there's no better way to say you love your friends than to say, look, would you like this Tim Tam? It's basically guaranteeing friendship forever. Who are they not for? Sour people, people that don't like a good time, people that value plainness over all else. I'd say they're really good for adventure motorcyclists on the Tet, because they're protected by a tray and they've not been smashed up at all here, and I've been riding a lot quicker whilst staying within a law officer than I have done on the Cub, and nothing's broken, touch wood, nothing's fallen off, cracked, fallen apart, and I've almost got used to that. So thanks for coming with me on the Tet to taste Tim Tams. I've got more Tim Tams. I've got some savoury biscuits from Australia. My sister gave me some biscuits for farming her son, my nephew, the other day, so I'll do those. They're made by Balls In, which I think is a sex technique developed by Neil from the In-Betweeners, maybe Jay. If you want to know more about the bike, it's a DRZ 400, and I'll do a more in detail video of that in a short while. But if you like this, let me know by saying so and doing a thumb and all that crap. And also watch some other videos, because I've reviewed other biscuits. Keep pushing it to the limit, because that's all I do. And I'll see you on the next review. Cheers then. Just to dispel any doubt, if there was any left, I think that Tim Tams and also Suzuki DRZ 400s are mint. Cheers.